What's up, fight fans? Welcome to my channel. This is Johnny, and in today's video we're going to be going over the statistics that nobody talks about when mentioning this weekend's world title fight at 135 pounds between the champion Keyshawn Davis and the challenger Edwin de Los Santos.
Right hand, left hand combination. Head is snapped back. Davis on the go. Two left hand.
Right hook and a shot to the body. De Los Santos is just picking.
Guys, before I continue, I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who's been with me since day one. If you haven't already, could you please hit subscribe? Also, like this video. And one more thing, go down to the bottom of your screen, find the little bell notification icon, click that so you can be notified every time I put something out that's new. All right, guys, this is another massive week in boxing internationally. We've already covered some fights in the UK with Joshua Kelly. We already covered on the channel that heavyweight clash with Fabio Wardley and the Aussie Justice Hooney. There's fights in Montreal. There's multiple fight cards in the States. And then the weekend ends with a fight card in Australia with Jai Apataya. And then Japan with Nakatani. But right now, we're going to be talking about Norfolk, Virginia. The businessman, the world champion at 135 pounds. Keyshawn Davis, the 26-year-old Olympic medalist, is taking on the tough Dominican, the two-loss Edwin de Los Santos. So in this video, we're going to be talking about both guys' careers. We're going to talk a little bit about how they go about their business, how they're going to win the fight, the pros and cons of their styles. Also, stay tuned to the end of the video. That's where I'll be going over the Las Vegas odds, as well as giving you my prediction and telling you where to put your money. All right, guys, as soon as this fight was signed, I know I was excited about it. I know you guys have been excited about it. And Top Rank is really producing a nice little card in Norfolk. You also have Abdullah Mason with Nakataya, and then you have Keyshawn's brothers are on the card. Some intriguing matchups, but it's all about the meat and potatoes of the card. Is the title fight, the stylistic matchup. Keyshawn's an orthodox fighter. We know De Los Santos is a southpaw. When I'm thinking about Keyshawn, I'm thinking about a guy who each fight, more and more, you're seeing a true belief system in terms of his self-belief. The guy truly believes he's the best in the world, and we can't speak about it enough. I always talk about this. When young fighters become a world champion for the first time, it adds a little bit of swag to their business. And with the businessman, you could see it in his fights. Also, I do want to mention the work, the molding, the class that Bomac has added to Keyshawn's game. You mix that with him surrounding himself around stars like Bud Crawford and Shakur Stevenson, and you have an undefeated 26-year-old who feels like he is the best in the world. And look at his most recent fights, his fight style. The dude is dangerous everywhere. He could lead the dance. He could counter you. His body work is impressive, and he's learning to sit on his shots and finish the show. With Edwin de Los Santos, this is a guy on paper. I'm doing my research. I've watched his last fights, and I don't mean anything by this, but I didn't realize he was younger than Keyshawn. He has a storied amateur pedigree. He's a southpaw. The naysayers with Edwin de Los Santos currently in his career are going to talk about he didn't fight at all in 2024. This will be his first fight in 2025. Inverse to Keyshawn, fought 3 times in 2024, has already fought once in 2025. So we're going to see a little bit if that ring rust is a real deal with De Los Santos' performance. We haven't seen him since that loss against Shakur Stevenson, and this guy is traveling to Keyshawn's hometown. We know how electric that arena is going to be. We know that Davis has the people of Virginia on his back, and it's going to be a tough hill to climb for Edwin de Los Santos. The southpaw feels he has the skills, the pedigree, and the power to put a stop and become a world champion. Right now, I want to remind everybody what's at stake this weekend in Virginia. All right, guys, let's start this off with a quote by Bob Arum. Keyshawn Davis is a generational talent. Someone who is a tremendous representative for Norfolk and the 7 cities, said Top Rank chairman Bob Arum. Keyshawn is always asking for the most dangerous fights, and Edwin de Los Santos qualifies that as such. He's a worthy contender intent on silencing another passionate, sold-out crowd at the historic Scope Arena. Keyshawn Davis was already a contender coming off last July's one-sided decision over Miguel Medueno. He showed he was one of the sport's top hometown ticket sellers that November when he faced Argentina's former #1 world-rated contender Gustavo Lemos in Norfolk's biggest boxing event since the late Pernell Whitaker fought Buddy McGirt 30 years ago. Despite Lemos being more than 6 pounds overweight, Keyshawn knocked him out in the second round in front of a sold-out crowd of 10,568. Following the Norfolk coronation, Keyshawn earned the WBO #1 ranking and challenged then champion Dennis Baranchik on February 14th in New York City. He knocked out Baranchik in the 4th round, capturing his first world title 4 days before the 36th anniversary of Whitaker winning the IBF lightweight title over Greg Hagan in Hampton, Virginia. Whitaker made his inaugural title defense by knocking out Louis Lomeli at Scope Arena. Keyshawn now has another opportunity to follow in Whitaker's footsteps. Norfolk and the 7 cities get ready for another spectacular show, Keyshawn said. My first main event at Scope Arena was like something out of a movie, and the sequel will be even better. Kelvin and Keon will set the tone, and I'll make it 3-0 for the evening for DB3. Edwin has had a lot to say recently, but he'd be awfully quiet when I get through him on June 7th. De Los Santos had an extensive amateur career of roughly 265 fights before turning pro in 2018. He was 13-0 with 12 knockouts while fighting in his homeland before making his American debut in January of 2022. De Los Santos lost his O with a split decision loss to William Foster III, but he closed that year with knockout victories over a pair of then unbeaten contenders, Luis Acosta and Rayo Valenzuela. De Los Santos took the Valenzuela fight on short notice and knocked out the heavy favorite in round 3 of a Fight of the Year contender. After a one-sided decision over Joseph Adorno in July 2023, he earned a shot against Shakur Stevenson that November for the vacant WBC lightweight world title. In the most competitive fight of Stevenson's career, De Los Santos lost to UD by scores of 116 to 112 and twice at 115 to 113. De Los Santos said, I want to thank Keyshawn Davis for giving me the opportunity to become the WBO world champion. Thank you to Top Rank and my promoter, Samson Lukovic, as well. It will be a great fight, but Keyshawn has made his first big mistake as a pro by choosing to fight me. I will prove how big of a mistake it is on June 7th. I will come to Norfolk in perfect shape, and I will be looking for a knockout, end quote. This is the narrative of the fight. A lot of people siding with De Los Santos are saying that his southpaw style, we haven't seen Keyshawn fight a southpaw since Anthony Idjit a few years ago. We know how that fight ended. Keyshawn stomped him, but Idjit's nowhere incomparable to De Los Santos regarding the skill set, the power, and that offensive arsenal he brings to the table. Keyshawn's fans are saying Keyshawn's too good everywhere. He does everything really well, entering the pocket, exiting the pocket. He keeps that high guard defensively. The thing about Keyshawn is he will trade with you and exchange with you, and this is where De Los Santos is probably, in my opinion, going to try and make him pay. Right now, I do want to take a closer look at the Dominican and see what he's been up to in his career. Guys, De Los Santos is 16-2 with 14 knockouts. He's not currently ranked by BoxRec in the lightweight division due to his inactivity. He's fought a total of 60 pro rounds and carries into the ring an 88% career knockout to win ratio. The Dominican is a 5'8" southpaw with a 70-inch reach. He was born in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, and still lives there to this day. We last saw him fight Shakur Stevenson, 20-0, lost to UD in the 12th. Adorno, 17-2-2, UD in the 10th. Rayo Valenzuela, 12-0, stopped him in the 3rd. Acosta, 12-0, stopped him in the 2nd. Foster the 3rd, 13-0. He lost the split in the 8th. So De Los Santos is 2 decisions away from being perfect. He's never been stopped, and at 25 years old, he's not even in his physical prime. In terms of the pop on his punch, when you look at his resume, a lot of those early fights, a lot of you guys won't recognize any of those names, myself included. 14 of his 16 wins are by knockout. So the narrative on him right now is that he has the power advantage over Keyshawn. I feel that that's going to be a big question. I'm not going to say that I even agree with that. We'll know a lot more after the fight, because we know as fighters climb through their career, they go from a domestic level to a world-class level, and their opposition gets better and better. Those knockout to win ratios definitely go down. We'll see if that's the case against Keyshawn. Right now, let's take a closer look at Davis, see what he's been up to in his career. All right, guys, Keyshawn Davis is 13-0 with 9 knockouts. Out of 2,557 fighters in the world at 135 pounds, he's ranked number 5. He's fought a career total of 84 pro rounds and carries into the ring a 69% career knockout to win ratio. He is the WBO World Lightweight Champion. His adoring fans know him as the businessman, and the American's a 26-year-old Orthodox fighter standing at 5'9" with a 70-inch reach. He was born in Norfolk, Virginia, and still lives there to this day. We last saw him fight Dennis Baranchik, 19-0, stopped him in the 4th. Lemos, 29-1, stopped him in the 2nd. Madueño, 31-2, UD in the 10th. Pedraza, 29-5, stopped him in the 6th. And guys, so when you think about Keyshawn Davis, only 13 pro fights, 9 wins by stoppage. He does come from a storied amateur pedigree. He is an Olympic medalist, and if you look at his last 4 fights, this is why I said earlier, he is a guy who's learning to sit down on his punches. 3 out of his last 4 victories are by stoppage. So boxing is a sport of what? What have you done for me lately? At 26 years old, he isn't in his physical prime. So I think it would be unjust to say that one guy has the power advantage over the other guy specifically due to a higher knockout to win ratio. When I see pop on punches, you have to think about timing and speed. Power just doesn't come from nowhere. It's produced through that timing and speed and reflexes and a little bit of intuitive approach. And I give that to Keyshawn, and it's something that he does really well. Where he punches from, his punch placement and his punch arsenal, I think his offensive bag is a little bit more dynamic than Edwin de Los Santos. When I look at these fighters side by side, like I said, 26 and 25, this is a boxing fan's dream. These guys are both hungry. One's a world champion, one isn't. One is coming off of lack of activity, one has been super active. The reach cancels each other out. Both guys had great amateur careers. This is why we were so excited when this fight was made. We're going to see real quickly what type of fight Keyshawn is going to want to fight and what type of fight Edwin is going to want to fight. And I think we're going to know that in the first minute. I think they're going to meet each other in the middle, and we're going to see who's going to take advantage of that speed, distance, and range. And then from there, we're going to see the fight play out. Right now, I do want to take a closer look at the Las Vegas odds. Guys, I do live streams every day. So if you're catching this, go on the playlist section, check the live stream. There, we're starting to build our parlay throughout the week with all the fights and all the fight cards that I already aforementioned. My prediction in this video will be my money line prediction, but stay tuned to those live streams in which I'll be giving you my method of victory bets. All right, guys, wherever you are in the world, let's pull out your betting apps. I'm down here in Australia, so my book is called Sportsbet. So let's take a closer look at that money line odds and see where the bettors are putting their money. Currently on the money line, Keyshawn Davis is the favorite. If you put 100 on him, you get your money back plus $14. The draw is 21-1. De Los Santos, the Dominican, is the underdog at 650, meaning you put 100 on De Los Santos, you'll get your money back plus $550. So De Los Santos isn't quite a 6-1 dog, and my prediction on this, due to him being a heavy hitter, due to him being a viable live dog, I think if you want to get on the De Los Santos train right now, you should put your bet in, because I think as we get closer to fight night, a lot of the punters, a lot of the gamblers are going to be looking at those odds and be putting money on De Los Santos to upset Keyshawn. So if you like De Los Santos, take him now, or else those odds, in my opinion, are going to come a little bit closer, probably more to like 4-1 come fight night. With my prediction, with the trajectory of each guy's careers, what I've seen from them recently, I'm siding with Norfolk's son. I'm going with Keyshawn, the businessman, to pertain business as usual. I think he's going to go in there and outbox Edwin de Los Santos. I expect a really smart game plan from Bomac, and I expect Keyshawn to execute that game plan. You guys don't have to agree with me in the comment section below. Does anyone here see this fight going the other way? When the ring announcer says at the end of the bell, are we going to hear and still for Keyshawn or and new for De Los Santos? Also, guys, stay tuned to the channel if you haven't seen my breakdown, analysis, and prediction of the heavyweight clash going down in England this weekend between Fabio Wardley and Justice Hooney. Stay tuned to the channel because that's coming up right now.